Hey everyone, how are you today? Oh my goodness. Aunt Jura is in a special circle of hell on hold. Yeesh. This looks horrible. There were 22 calls ahead of me. Supposed wait time of 8 minutes. It's been 25 minutes. Now there's 15 calls ahead of me with a supposed wait time of 4 minutes. When that's one out of two. So we'll see what happens. I'll try and stall a little bit. Um, that is awful. Okay. Also, it almost sounds like some of you are starting a band. That sounds fantastic. Um, there are so many people here. Thank you. So we've got Dave, Hugs. We've got Easism Works. We have Paul Camish. Hey, Paul. We have Aunt Jura, of course, even though she's on hold. We have Godless Sewing, Amiga Nuts, Microraptor, Mark Caesar, who just moved into a new place. And yeah, I know a little bit about having too much stuff, if you haven't noticed. Did I say Microraptor? Hi, Microraptor. Let's see. Godless Granny in the house. We got the Lone Wanderers Variety Channel. Hey, Lone Wanderer. I'm missing somebody. I know it. See, I verbally hugged Dave already. That's a weird way to put that. Okay, so basically I stayed up way too late last night and have not been up for very long. So today's Wine and Reason is sponsored by coffee. Coffee. It helps you wake up when you've overslept horrendously to a really ill-timed hour. That's I sleeping until 1 p.m. That's weird. At least at this point in my life. Okay, well, Andrea is telling me not to stall on her account, but yes. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah. Coffee is life. Agreed. Godless Sewing. Agreed. It's so good to see you. Loved your interview on Santi's channel the other day. That was awesome. He's just like, ramble on. Need more work/talk to finish. Okay, I will try to do that. Hey, IQ. Technically helps you not fall asleep. Yes, it helps me not fall asleep. That's what it does. What did I say? Oh gosh, I don't know. Yeah, so hi everyone. He said something else, but I've lost it now. Oh, hey Amber. Amber Schofield is here. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So Julia Boy said, you told me I would have made you a crystal bowl instead of a goblet. Yeah, that's this nifty I'm circling my cursor around it like you can see that. I don't think you can. The nifty little Wine and Reason logo with the goblet and the hand and everything up here in the corner is courtesy of Easism Works because I can't draw. So thank you so much. I love it. Yeah, healing crystal ball says Microraptor. Okay, yeah. So let's get into it. So this is awesome. I thought I was gonna have to define a lot of terms. Shuteye. If you look it up in the dictionary, it's just gonna say like nap, sleep. And it'll give you synonyms like cat nap and things like that. Oh, cool. Yeah. But in stage magicians and some other folks, there's another word, there's another definition for the term Shuteye. And so you've got basically two kinds of psychics, just to make it really, just to boil it down and to probably a bad reductive place. The two definitions are you've got psychics who know it's all bullshit and they're just out they make money off of it, and that's that's what they do. And they do hot and cold readings and stuff like that. And then you have, of course, you've got stage magicians like Darren Brown and Matt Dillahunty, who absolutely admit that there's nothing supernatural going on here, but they can make it look like they're doing something supernatural. They can make it look like they're reading minds or things like that. Which is why I said this term kind of comes out of the stage magician world. And then you get people like I used to be, who are shut-eyes. And so a shut-eye is someone who honestly believes that they have some kind of psychic power or ability. This is really embarrassing to talk about, by the way, because for the majority of my teenage life and my early adulthood, I absolutely believed this about myself. So against all evidence to the contrary. Yeah, right? Do words get harder when you're tired? Yeah, sounds like yes, Mark, they do. Words get harder when I'm tired and not fully awake. Absolutely. Yeah, sorry, guys. Oh yeah, yeah. It is crazy. IQ has a good point here. Is when you take all the woo out, it's still amazing. It is. I like Darren Brown's show. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the title of it, but he did one that was televised. I think I brushed my hair. He did one that was televised, and he was showing how faith healing works, and just on people in the audience that it was too many people for it to have been plants. Like so usually, if somebody wants to do something really weird, they might have a plant in the audience, and that's the person they go to, and that person is ready to, do whatever they say. But hey, Dr. Osiris. But in this situation, he did it to like half the audience, where he did the whole, touch them on the head thing, and they just fell out. Like you see televangelists do. And so it was really amazing to watch him break that down, and then he went on to explain like why that works like it does and such. So yeah, I love I'm with IQ and Microraptor here, because I love the non-woo versions. It's so cool that once you know how our brains work and a little bit more about how we perceive things, it is fascinating. That it's a little scary, but it's also fascinating that we can manipulate the mind in that way. So back to the shut-eye thing. I do the only good thing about this that I can say about myself as a shut-eye is I never charged anyone money for it. I used to read tarot cards, and I would do Wiccan spells for people if they were, which is basically the new age wooey. It was a new age wooey version of "I'm praying for you" kind of thing, and yeah, and this is a good point Microraptor's making. I've heard that people falling down and speaking in tongues is a lot about what people think they are supposed to do. Absolutely. And that's that's a fascinating part, Microraptor. Thank you for bringing that up. We are such social animals that the reason there's two reasons that things like that kind of mirroring behavior, like you think you're supposed to do it, so then you're able to do it, like speaking in tongues, or in the sense of a tarot card reading, like I used to tell people, the cards aren't going to tell you anything you don't already know. Oh, wow. That's mystical and magical, isn't it? Oh my God. And so I'd lay them out, and then, the archetypes in the cards are they're archetypes, right? So they're very universal. So you've got, the Empress and the Magician and Death and all of these very, broad things that it's, you even have the the card that's the devil, and it's like, oh, someone is manipulating you right now, you know, which is funny. So yeah, it was really easy to get people to go, oh my gosh, that's exactly what's happening. Oh God, okay, yeah, that's exactly it. And I didn't, and because you know, these union archetypes are built into the decks themselves, and tarot has been around since I want to say the either the late Middle Ages or the early Enlightenment. They've been around for a long time. They started in Spain originally, I think, and then and stuff. But yeah, it just became a thing. I'm sorry, I'm not getting this out well. I really believed that, you know, that there was something to tarot cards, that, you know, I shuffled them and, you know, burned the right incense and had the other person cut the deck, the person I was doing the reading for, that, you know, it would give them some information somehow magically that they couldn't have before. So I got a question. When you were reading tarot cards, did you ever believe you were? I did. I absolutely did, Mark. Yeah, I believed I was doing it for real. I don't I can honestly say I never lied to anyone. I did have, in the sense where I knew I was lying. Later, I figured out that it was all nonsense, and then I felt kind of shitty. But actually, I felt really shitty for a while. But I'm not going to bore you with that part. But yeah, I really did believe it. But then there were also many times when I was like, I don't know, that felt weird. You know, especially if the other person wasn't going, oh yes, this is, you know, I wasn't getting that feedback. I did have those moments where I would wonder, like, what, am I off today, or is this, you know? And then of course I was also in school studying things like archetypes in literature classes, and I knew what those were and how universal they were. Hey, Brainbug. So it was it was interesting. So we've got some stuff in the chat before I go on to other things. Yeah, I have a saying, voodoo only works if you believe in it. That's absolutely right. Godless sewing. It same with curses and all of that. It's all that stuff. It works if you believe in it. I have some lava rock from Hawaii, and you know, they'll there's a big superstition about that Pele, the volcano goddess, doesn't like the rock being taken off the island. And a friend of mine went to Hawaii, and she brought me back some, and it's supposed to be incredibly bad luck, to the point where people from the 48 continental states will go to Hawaii, take lava rock, and then will mail it back just to any random, this actually happens, any random US post office in Hawaii, just to send it back, because they you know, something happens or a string of things happen, and they're like, oh my God, this is bad luck, get it out of the house. And it's funny because my lava rock has never caused me any trouble, so I don't. Probably because it's just a rock. I use it to pumice my feet. It's very, very useful. Yes, playing cards were the first tarot cards. You're absolutely correct, Lone Wanderer. Yeah. And thank you for looking up the date. That was driving me nuts that I couldn't remember. 14th century. That makes sense. Oh, from Egypt. Wow, cool. 1367 in Bern, and they appear to have spread very rapidly. Nice. Okay. Cool. Very cool. All right. So, oh, Mark has something here. Let's see. An experiment was done in a uni lecture where they handed out the same prediction as star signs to everyone and asked whether they thought it was for them, and most said yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's why, you know, when it's the same thing with that, like when people look at their horoscopes and go, oh, that's just me. And that's because horoscopes use Barnum statements. It's very general. It's, you know, and it will sound like you. And any of them can sound like you. That's the thing, because it's basically, here are personality traits of, you know, X. And yeah, like I was I'm technically a Capricorn, but I'm born on the cusp of Aquarius. So you know, I used to make a lot of jokes about that. Like I'm a stodgy free spirit and stuff like that, which makes no sense. So oh, here we go. Yeah, this is good too. A friend once read all the predictions based on your star sign from magazine and had me guess which one was for me. I couldn't answer because none of them fit me. Neither of us believed in it. BTW, yeah. And that's a big part of it too. Again, it's not going. Oh, that was James Randi. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's not going to work once you know that it's BS, right? It's just not. Yeah, thanks, Paul. Mark, thanks, Paul, too. Yeah, it's not going to work once you know it's not true, because that breaks the illusion, and then, you know, you can use your brain more rationally. So the other thing I believed in, and this is because I had sleep paralysis when I was 4, and saw some really scary things. If you, I'm sure you all know what sleep paralysis is, but if you don't, feel free to look it up. But usually it's people feel like they can't move. Sometimes it's basically a state where you're waking up, but your body, your brain is still telling your body not to move, because it's that's what keeps us from acting out our dreams and hurting ourselves when we're asleep. Is it just, I'm sorry, I'm not using very scientific words here, but basically your brain, you're kind of sort of paralyzed to a degree. So yeah, anyway, yeah, so the point of that is that you're kind of in between. You're in this weird state of where you're still in REM sleep, but you're also waking up. And so you can't move. And a lot of people see very terrifying things in that moment. And it's just stuff that their brains are doing. Oh, Dr. Osiris, I am so sorry. Oh, man. I am so sorry. I have 2 adult friends who have it and still have it, and it's terrifying. Their descriptions were, oh yeah, their descriptions are terrifying. Yours sounds kind of cool, Brainbug. That might just be my I like horror movies part talking, but that sounds kind of nice. Also maybe a little creepy. Yeah, yes, yeah. So sorry, Osiris. That's terrible. Yeah, my 2 friends, yeah, my friends who have it, it's they talk about it, and they're like, yeah, it's not fun, it's disturbing. So anyway, I saw this thing, and it just made me certain that ghosts were real, and I thought that I had good reason to believe that because I'd seen one, right? I was also being raised Catholic, and so if you know anything about that, Catholics believe in this concept of intercessory prayer, right? Where you get like a lot of people will say that Catholics worship saints, particularly Saint Mary, the Blessed Mother, right? They'll say that we, you know, that easy to slip back into that, isn't it? They'll say that, you know, Catholics do that, and oh, good. I'm glad that, okay, that's good, Brainbug. I'm glad you're stopped after you stopped working overnights. Yeah, so anyway, this concept of intercessory prayer is basically you ask a saint because they're closer to God, right? So you ask a saint to intercede with God on your behalf about X. And there are saints for everything. And the ones that I'm sure you've heard of, Saint Nicholas is the patron saint of children and thieves, which is kind of funny. And that's where we get the concept of Santa Claus from, right? And you know, there's a whole bunch. There's a rhyme you can say if you're missing if you've lost something, because Saint Anthony is the patron saint of lost things. There's this weird, just random thing that I actually did once. My parents were trying to sell their house, and we just couldn't, and we were moving moving to a different state for my dad's work, and we had to get the house had to sell, or we, so that we could buy a place in the new city. And so finally, I took a statue of Saint Joseph, and the patron saint of fathers and stepfathers, right? And buried it upside down in the backyard. And that week, the house sold. That is coincidence, but it, in my Catholic head at the time, I was like, oh, it worked, fantastic. So there's some weird Catholic woo for you. Vincent is a very good singer. Yeah. So I got off work. I mean, not off work. I got off on a tangent, and now I don't remember where I was. Oh, right. Okay. So sleep paralysis. Yeah. So I had that happen, saw this thing. It made me absolutely terrified. I mean, it was so scary that from then on, I not only believed in ghosts, I believed in demons, which I was also being taught, through my religion, that demons were absolutely real too. I once woke up and couldn't move and saw what I thought was my guardian angel at the time. And I told my dad, and he was thrilled. He was absolutely thrilled. And my dad's a very smart man, so I'm not making fun of him here, but he really thought he thought that was amazing, and he thought I had been like, specially blessed or something to have been able to see my guardian angel. It's just so strange. So that's why as I grew up and I read the Bible and decided I couldn't and didn't want to be a Christian anymore because that book's terrible. I got into, in the 90s, I got into a lot of new age woo stuff, and I was a practicing witch, and I was, doing all of this stuff. And that's when the Shuteye thing got really big, as I would, I thought I was empathic, but not just like on the level of having empathy or for your fellow humans or being compassionate. Like, I thought I could actually read a person's emotions regardless of whether or not they were sharing them. I believed in damn near everything. I believed in reincarnation. I mean when you think you have, it's a weird thing that happens, is once you think you have good reasons to believe in one aspect of anything that's supernatural, it's very easy to just have a whole avalanche of other supernatural beliefs fall in with them. Let's see. Can you imagine the issues that would raise if they found the patron saint buried upside down in the backyard? You are the reason for some nightmares, probably. Hopefully. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Hopefully, they weren't big gardeners, but if they were, that had to be a weird moment. Oh dear. Yeah, I would have. Thank you, Microraptor. Yes. A guardian, absolutely. I would have, I would have liked to talk about the things I needed guarding from. The funny thing is, though, is they used to tell us in Wiccan apostate. Yeah, I'm totally a Wiccan apostate, and I know. And by the way, thank you, Doc. There's some great YouTubers out there. Sorry, guys. Who are, don't smoke. It's stupid. Okay, there's some great folks out there on YouTube, and I'm thinking of Ocean Keltoy first and foremost. But there's some great folks out there who are practicing neo-pagans, who are lovely people, and I'm not saying that I don't know. I don't have a window into their minds. I don't know what they believe and what they don't, and I'm not going to say that that they're shut eyes. I'm just talking about me. And this, it was kind of a cool moment when I learned that this was a term, because I was like, okay, that explains it. But the other problem is it's kind of like the thing about curses not working if you believe in them. If you're constantly looking for, signs, and if you believe in magic and you believe that, the gods and goddesses or the universe is trying to tell you something, or you're looking for guidance, then then everything becomes a sign, right? I mean, I was walking with a friend once, and a crow had landed on top of his car, and he was like, well, can I get a ride home from you? And I was like, yeah, definitely. Because we both looked at that and we were like, that's probably bad, you know? And he was like, yeah, I can't. I'm not driving home. I'm going to have an accident if I drive home. And it's just a bird. Just a freaking bird. So there's a quote we can pull from today. It's just a bird. God. Yeah, so yes, it is called confirmation bias. Thank you, Mark Caesar. Absolutely. And it is. And we would go to, my friends and I would go to, supposedly haunted places and haunted sites and stuff, and try to, ghost hunt. And of course, once one person is like, oh my God, do you feel that? I have goosebumps. Do you feel that? It's so cold in here. Do you feel that cold spot? And then instantly everybody else is like, yeah, I do too. Even if you don't, because, or even if you're like thinking, do I? Is it? Oh, sure it is. Absolutely. And it's going along with that sort of social species thing. So yeah, it's just very, very weird. Hey, Doc Fearsome, we are talking about when I was a shut-eye, and it's very embarrassing, and I'm having trouble with words. Doc, you was saying, okay, sorry about that. I was actually saying I am a Wiccan apostate, but you can be one too. Thank you. I am. Yeah, no, I fully am. Yeah, I was a Wiccan for way too long. Nearly 20 years, I think. I mean, I wasn't great at it. Whatever that means. I did like the festivals though. Those are fun. There's every other person knows how to play a guitar or a drum, and there are always hippie chicks dancing, and it's a lot of fun. But there's also a lot of weird, it's just so weird. Weird things. No, I'm not gonna get into that. Anyway, so what do you think? I guess, do you guys have any questions? Are you, I'm trying to think what else I was a shut-eye about. I wore, what are my tattoos? Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair question. Mark Caesar asks, what are my tattoos? Okay, so this is an artist rendition of Bridget. She was a goddess in Ireland, and then after the Irish were converted to Christianity, she was a fire goddess. After the Irish were converted to Christianity, they turned her into a saint. But this is so Saint Bridget. But this is kind of cool, because this is I've got her as a fairy here, which is really pretty. And then the crow there, I like to say that now that's for Edgar Allan, or the raven there, rather. That's a raven, not a crow. I like to say that's for Edgar Allan Poe now, but I actually got it because for the Morrigan, that's the goddess of war and death over in the British Isles, mainly war, which is why the carrion bird ravens are her thing. This is Herne, the horned one. That's why that's where that term comes from. It's also where we get the term horny from. He was a fertility god. He was often depicted being chased around by naked women. And this owl was for Athena, because the owl, she's the goddess of war and wisdom in the Greco-Roman pantheon, and the owl was her her bird, which is why to this day we associate owls with wisdom and intelligence, which I think is kind of funny, or interesting anyway. Did you really think, okay, so Paul Camish asks, did you really think you had psychic powers, or were you fooling yourself? Both. I was doing both. I really thought I did. And because I thought I did, I fooled myself into believing I did. Does that make sense? I know it's circular reasoning, and it wasn't rational at the time. But yeah, I mean, I had some, you know, full on weird emotional, thank you, uh, reactions to things. And it was really frustrating when like a spell I did didn't work, because I thought, oh, maybe I didn't do it right, or now is not the right time, or the gods don't want that to happen right now for whatever reason. It's the same stuff that Christians tell themselves, you know. It's like, oh, well, that must not have been the plan, you know, when a prayer is denied or whatever. But no, I did. And I gosh, oh, so stupid. Stupid because I'm not trying to be down on myself here. It's the reason I hate that I was like this for so long is that it led to some very bad decision making, and it led to some full-on life choices that I now regret. Yeah, so I if I had not thought that I'd had psychic powers, and if I had not thought that, you know, the gods were sending me you know, messages and dreams, and I wasted so much time writing down dreams that were just nonsensical and had nothing to do with anything in real life. Oh, thank you, Paul. Yeah, that makes, I did. Yeah, I absolutely rationalized it in my own mind, for sure. And again, I believed it. I was convinced of it, and I thought I had good reason to be convinced of, or to be convinced. You know, other stuff used to happen too, because I have older siblings, right? And they liked to play tricks on me. To this day, I hate practical jokes for this reason. I'd have friends over for a sleepover or whatever, and my older siblings had, or my older brother in particular, I love him to pieces, but I'm pretty sure he was the architect behind all of this, because it sounds like him. I've never asked him. I should ask him. We would all be hanging out in the den, and then we'd hear noises in the kitchen, and we'd look up and no one was in there, and we'd run in there, and every drawer and cabinet would be open, like that scene in The Sixth Sense, if you remember that. And so like even my friends were convinced that my house was haunted, the house I grew up in. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Lone Wanderer says, I am convinced I can eat a whole pizza, but my body doesn't agree. Yeah. Sometimes I'm convinced I can eat macaroni and cheese, and my body is like, what did you do? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's some cool stuff going on. Oh, I did this too. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I did something similar. Okay. I used to have a spell that would change traffic lights green. Unfortunately, the casting time took about as long as it took for the light to change anyway. Exactly. You may be joking. That may just be a joke. And either way, it's very clever. But I used to do that. Like that scene in The Craft. Like I would but the funny thing is, the truth is that the lights in my city, and this isn't true in a lot of American cities, are timed in such a way that if you are driving the speed limit, you're going to hit fewer red lights. So again, it's confirmation bias. You know, I thought I could somehow, you know, alter reality to suit me and my needs if I needed to. And it was just, you know, it was always just, looking back, it was always just coincidence, or or something like that, where no, it was just something I didn't know about. No, I can't eat mac and cheese. I can. It makes me uncomfortable and a bit sick because I am very lactose intolerant, and that's all we need to say about that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, there you go. Lone Wanderer got me. There we go. Oh, no. There are fates worse than death, like being lactose intolerant. Yeah, you know what's really awful? Is becoming lactose intolerant at 36. I was 36. I had a palate for good cheese, for like the wine and cheese, for the yummy, like, Gouda and Brie and I can't eat some of the harder cheeses because those have less lactose, so I can eat a little bit of that. And I have found one that has like espresso on the rind, and it's just this lovely, it's fantastic. So every once in a while I'll eat some of that, but okay. It's also expensive, so it's a good thing that I can't eat much of it. Yes. All right, we got some kitty cat action happening. Yeah, it really does seem like kitty cats can transport, right? They can. It's weird. Lone Wanderer. I'm not sure, but most things don't upset my stomach like cheese does, and milk. I can't drink milk at all. So I'm fairly certain through process of elimination that it's just lactose. I know, IQ. God, I miss cheese. All right. Okay. Oh man, I'm so sorry. That's rough. Physics obey the laws of cat. Oh, wrong thing. Yeah, I loved cheeses until later in life. There's something called lactase, which allows you to eat lactose. Yeah, you know what? Excuse me. I tried Lactaid, AID, that product. I don't know if it's exactly the same thing, but it's supposed to make you able to eat cheese. And now we got off on a weird topic here, but that's all right. It's fine. And I tried that, and it didn't help. But I may have who knows? It was, it was in the supplement section, so I might have just picked up a bad batch or something that was just nonsense. Physics obey the laws of cat. Yes, they do. I love that. That's amazing. Okay. So, why would anyone want to eat cheese? Dave says. Dave, if you either love cheese or you don't, I can't explain it to you. If you're not convinced by cheese, then you're just not. And I don't really see how I could convert you to that. Okay. Seriously? Is this true? Cat milk is the exact same thing as lactose-free milk for humans. Do you mean for the kittens, or are you talking about milking a cat? Because I'm not doing that. First of all, I don't think it would be comfortable for the cat. It would be sad. Oh, damn it, Dave. We were having a moment. Oh, it's okay, IQ. We can bond over cheese anytime. I promise. Grilled cheese and Vegemite sandwiches are a thing made in heaven. I have not had Vegemite, and I hear Australians and British folks. Oh, hey, Microraptor, yeah. Talk about it a lot. So I don't know. Is it like a, no, I haven't heard of milking a fish, but I'm scared I just said something really naughty. That's what that sounds like to me. Mark Caesar. All right. So yeah, back to the whole thought I was a psychic thing. So another, and so did other people too. So this is another weird thing, is that like in my family, for example, the Catholic part of my family, women, the women in the family often had what they thought were important dreams, especially, shocker, around when after someone died. And this is just, it's a coping mechanism. It's like, looking back on it, you know, when I describe this, you're gonna think, oh, they thought that was real. No, honey, you know, but yes, they did. So for example, my parents, their first grandchild, my first nephew, died in a car accident, and a week before his second birthday. And of course, everyone was devastated. It was just, he was on life support for a long time. They tried, but he had he was brain dead. He had a horrifically traumatic brain injury. And yeah, there was no saving him. So this is not a happy time that I'm flashing back to right now. So when we had everybody came for the funeral, and I think the second night, like right after we buried him, my mom, who had been, you know, everyone was devastated. It's always hard to lose a child anyway. You know, my poor brother and his wife, that they were devastated, beyond devastated. And then for everyone else, it was just, you know, this person barely got to be here. So it was just awful. And, but my mother had this dream where, that she told us about in very hushed tones, and she was a bit weepy, and she said, well, I dreamt last night that my mom was sitting in a chair and she had Lucas in her lap, and she said, don't worry, Rosemary, I have him, and I'm looking after him. And like, you know, that was very, I'm just telling this story, I'm getting fucking goosebumps, because this is just the power of story, right? This is the power of what we like to tell ourselves, you know, that everything is okay, that there's something more, that somehow it shakes out fair for everyone when we all know it doesn't. Some people just horrible things happen, and it's no one's fault. But it's hard for us to come to terms with that. So we make up all of this other stuff to make it mean something. But my mom, you know, I mean, to this day, she believes that wasn't just a dream, that her mother visited her in her sleep, spiritually, to let my mom know that that her mom, my grandmother, had her great grandbaby safe in heaven with her. And I don't know what to tell you. You know, and I would never, at this point in my mom's life, you know, she's 78. I'm not going to try and disabuse her of that notion. And especially with her dementia, we try to keep, you know, to not talk about some of the bad stuff that's happened, because she can kind of go back there and think it's happening right now. I'm not putting that up. That is hilarious. Oh, hey, Angie, how you doing, lady? Yeah. So and you know, I completely believed it. I thought, and for me, this happened too all the time, like around October in particular. Hello, Halloween, right? Because Halloween is a fun holiday. It's a secular holiday, unless you're of a Christian denomination like Catholicism that has All Saints Day, which is the day after Halloween. And if you are neo-pagan, a lot of neo-pagans, particularly who draw from British Isle pantheons and stuff, it's one of the most sacred, if not the most sacred days of the year, is Samhain, or in the Gaelic. Okay. And so, and you'll hear that pronounced Samhain in anything American, and it's irritating. It's like, just read a book. Anyway, but yeah, it's considered the time of the year when the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest, and people get, and I mean, I used to leave oats, honey, and milk outside my door. And I lived in apartments. I was probably bringing every roach in the city to my apartment complex. I can't believe I didn't get in trouble for this on Halloween, because because it was like saying, hey, it was just sort of an offering to any spirits that might be wandering by. But every year around Halloween, I would dream about people in my life that I'd lost. One year it was my grandpa. One year it was a friend of mine who died from a congenital heart defect when he was 30, and I was I think 27, and I had a dream about him that was very comforting. I had several dreams about him, actually, that were very comforting, and it's essentially, it was my brain trying to deal with the grief. But like my mom, I absolutely thought that those dreams were real. I dreamt about my brother's best friend who died in a car accident when he was 26, and just stuff like that. And that always happened. And now, the big difference now is that when I lost my two cats that I'd had for 15 and 13 years of my adult life, I had a dream about them where I woke up in my bedroom here in our place, and they both jumped up on the bed. And it was so great. They were there, and I was petting them, and they were purring. And then I woke up, and it was like they died all over again. It was awful. And yes, Paul, spirits do need three. No. No, I think the idea there was just to show that I'm not even sure anymore if I could tell you the exact reason for that. It had something to do with, basically, it was supposed to be a sacrifice of food to, like, help them on their journey to the other side of the veil, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. God, this sounds so dumb now. Honestly, ask a neo-pagan, because I don't remember exactly what the food thing was about. There also used to be there's a tradition of lighting a candle in a window on Halloween, but you have to be really careful if you have drapes. Don't want to burn the house down. Or put so lighting a candle in the window to help spirits find their way home. And that one, I was always curious about, because I was like, well, what if they decide that where I live is where they should be? I don't want them in here. Like, I don't know. I would say no, because they don't exist. But yeah, I don't know, man. It was a weird time. Yeah, it was strange. So that's some of the stuff. It's kind of an appeasing thing too. It's like you don't want them upset, so you leave them something to let them know they haven't been forgotten, I think was the idea. And what else? Oh, the whole reason I brought up intercessory prayer earlier is because Catholics think, some Catholics, I shouldn't say everyone, but certainly Catholics in my family, they don't so much, it's kind of different from the regular praying that they do, but they will, like ask deceased relatives to watch over them. There's a little bit, it's not like full on um, Asian style ancestor worship, but they, yeah, at least Catholics in my family absolutely believed that, that once you die, you know more than you did when you were alive, and they would, yeah. Oh, all right. What does Mark have here? Have you ever heard of the tradition of leaving small coins on? Yes, when you move out of a house. Yeah, I learned this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, let me back up. I didn't know about them from moving into out of a house to give good luck to the next person. That's really sweet. That's a lovely thing to do. That actually reminds me of why the food thing came around. So I'll get back to that in a second if I can remember. But yeah, a friend of mine, Mark, who was from California, and from all of her people are Sicilian, and she every New Year's she would leave coins on her windowsill because that was supposed to bring you financial good luck in the new year. So that's the thing I knew about, or the superstition I knew about in terms of leaving coins on the window. But I love that idea of leaving them for the next person who's going to be in the house to bring that person good luck. That's really sweet. That's really nice. So back to the food thing, Paul, to answer your question. I just remembered where that came from, because Christians are in some places used to do this too, is that so since a lot of people, including a lot of Christians, believed that that on All Hallows Eve or Halloween, the night before All Saints Day, that the spirits of the dead were out and walking around. In certain places, including your country, people would basically lay a full table for dinner, and then they'd go to church and they'd leave their doors open. And the idea was to, appease any restless spirits and send them on their way, right? Well, what was so great about this is it served this amazing social function of, for at least one night a year, anybody who was down on their luck, anybody living on the street, anybody who didn't have enough food could basically just walk into a neighbor's house and eat a full meal right there. Maybe sock some bread away for later, because then, folks would come back from church and the food would be eaten, and they were like, okay, they were here. I guess that was it. And again, I don't know how much of just like custom that was, and how much of it was we really believe spirits are coming in and eating the food. Like I think a lot of people knew that it wasn't spirits coming in, but imagine a time when you could have done that, left your door open, and not worried about anyone stealing anything or harming anything. That's nice thought. Ah, nice. Oh, I guess it would. Well, yeah, it would. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to come in early. Oh, they still do that in Mexico. Nice to know, Brainbug. Yeah. And Day of the Dead is fascinating. I mean, you want to talk about some really interesting and kind of weird stuff. I made a Day of the Dead altar one year when I was having a Halloween party for friends and family. And I had, pictures of everybody we'd lost on it, and saints candles and stuff, and it was everybody was really touched by it, which was interesting. And I mean, it was total cultural appropriation on my part, because as far as I know, I do not have any any Latinx ancestors. However, when you're raised Catholic in the South in the States, you end up going to church with a lot of Latinx people. So it's, you know, it's just kind of a thing. I do not know. No one's ever come in. Fair point, Paul. Oh, I haven't seen that. That sounds fun. Okay, hang on. I'll pull this up in case anybody wants to. I mean, y'all can see it, but Microraptor, that animated movie about the Day of the Dead was good. I think it's named Coco. I haven't heard of it. This is the thing about not having kids, and once your nieces and nephews and your friends' kids start to grow up, you start missing out on some of the, because it's just not, it doesn't come across our purview much to catch the good animated movies. And by good, I mean the ones that you can sit and enjoy as an adult and like watch with a kid and not be bored out of your skull. Because let's face it, a lot of movies made for kids are so made for kids and therefore kind of boring for the rest of us. But there's some really good ones too. Alrighty. So oh wow. All right. We are coming up at the top of the hour. Oh, Santy. Hey, buddy. Hello. Crazy Catnip. Hello. Oh no. All right. Well, sorry. I was talking about when I used to believe that I was psychic and that I could, Coco made me cry. Oh, that's sweet, actually. And then we moved on to Halloween and then Day of the Dead. Oh, in October, Unholy Sarah and I are both going to be wearing Halloween costumes for all of our live streams. So hopefully that will be fun for everybody. And also it's just a reason for us to wear more Halloween costumes because, you know, you can't take the goth out of this girl. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. This is amazing. This is a fair point. It's funny seeing some made for kids material when you're an adult and seeing the adult content that you didn't see as a kid. Yeah, because it went right over your head because you didn't know. And some of it's very shrewd. Some of it's a little naughty. Some of it's like satire. And it's kind of cool to go back and watch some of those older made for kid movies. Sometimes it's disturbing. I watched Newsies as an adult and I used to love that show. And now I'm like, there are some scenes in that are so anti-Semitic. They really bothered me. So sorry if I just ruined Newsies for you, but all right. My food must oh, no one likes school dinners because it's school. I think that's the main reason. It's just school. Nerdy. I partially regained consciousness. Good for you, my friend. I think I'm getting there slowly but surely. All right. Well, we've done an hour. I think that's about everything, honestly, that's interesting anyway. Thursday I will have the patrons only stream, so I'll be talking with hopefully with Lone Wanderer. Oh, I didn't put on my crawler. I'm so sorry. I need to thank my patrons. Thank you so much to my amazing patrons, Lone Wanderer, Linda from A Bit of Tea in Danish, and Kim. Thank you all so much. And I'm so sorry I forgot to put the crawler on. My bad. I will do better. But Thursday I'll have a thing with them that only they can see. So if you want to come in and chat with us, become a patron at Patreon/Wine&Reason, AND, because Patreon does not allow for the ampersand. Microraptor is asking Newsies. Newsies was a musical, and it's still around. I mean, they did it on Broadway just a few years ago, and it was nominated for some Tonys. But Newsies is a musical that Disney did originally. I think originally. And it's set in that, oh gosh, is it the 19, might be, it's either, I think it's during the Depression is when it's set. I'm not 100% sure, but you used to, you know, back before reasonable child labor laws, and also frankly, just, I guess the equivalent for my generation was having a paper route, right? Where you go deliver newspapers and you get paid to do that. So so we, you know, but it's basically about these kids, because boys in particular, like young boys, could make money by hawking newspapers, and they would do that to help out their families. And it was literally for those ends. It was to make money so that there was bread on the table. Basically, it was not a great time in our history, and Hearst features a lot in that. Okay, does the Patreon subscription come with wine? No, but it comes with tiers named after wine. So we've got the box wine tier, the Cabernet Sauvignon tier, and the Pinot Noir tier. And those are one, I think, or three. I forget what it made me do. I wanted to do one. I wanted to do it differently, but it wouldn't let me. So I don't know if that's a how many subs you have thing or what that is, but it's $3, $9, or $25 a month. So that's it. And it's not per creation, it's per month. Yeah, good thing, Paul. I hope you had earbud. I'm not gonna, I won't read that out loud. I won't sell you out. How about the no wine tiers? Oh, that's hilarious. Are you kidding? You have, I mean, oh dear. Okay, cool. So you're fine. Yeah, this was hilarious. Oh my. Okay, and then how about the no wine tiers? Oh, you know there's gonna be tears. Not today, because we're talking about frivolous, silly things I used to believe in. But come on, you know me. I get 2 glasses of wine and me, I get maudlin AF, right? She came down for tea, not coffee. Yep. Very important distinction. I respect that. You know, the funny thing is, Paul, I'll post this somewhere. I got at least on Twitter or something. Junk Shop and I have an array of teas. We have a lot of teas. So it is like we don't drink them as often as we probably should, which might be why we have so many. But yeah, we have a lot of tea in the house, and we're almost always ready at any given moment to make a hot toddy, because I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but the sinuses are bad. Oh, where's my Patreon link again? Yeah, I should really put that in the description, shouldn't I? Hey, Edward. Hello. I'll type it into the chat here. Thank you for asking. Okay. So that should get you there. So thank you so much for asking, Mark. And I will have a crawler next time. Sorry about that. Teas or teas? Well, I like both, Microraptor, but I did mean, oh, hey, wrong one. But I did, hi, Edward, though. But I did mean TEAS, not TEASE. Just the plural. Yeah, we got herbal, we've got English breakfast, we've got Earl Grey. Yeah, we have several. So something is happening in the chat, and I'm not sure what, because I clearly missed something. But yeah, okay. So my Patreon link. Oh, thank you, Dave. Hey, check you out, man. Thank you, Dave. Dave put it in there too. So yeah, I appreciate that, sir, very much. I've got to do some job hunting after I get off of here. Pro tip, Julie LaVoice, the WW thing is a thing of the past. Oh, you're right. It is. I know this. I'm just old. Oh, what kind of herbal teas do we have? Let's see. I know I've got, there's this one that Junk Shop likes when they have a sore throat that's called throat coat or something. I'm sorry, I forget what it's called. We have a cinnamon spice one that I love. It's delicious. The throat one has is it bergamot? It's got this one herb in it that hits my tongue in a weird way, and I can't stand it. I don't even like the smell of it. But they love it. Yeah, there's definitely chamomile in there. Which I'm also not a super fan of. I like lemon raspberry and this, but the cinnamon one, the cinnamon spice one, is amazing. Bergamot, that's it. Yes, Edward Chiriac. For those who like bergamot, it's very good. I do not. Paul says burdock. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Oh, you're like that with grapefruit, Dr. Osiris. Yeah, I like grapefruit, but I am very sensitive to citric acid. This cannot be good content for you guys. I think we've talked more about what we all can and can't eat than we have anything else. But if you enjoyed it, that's cool. All right. Final thoughts. It's easy to fool yourself into believing you can do things, especially when you feel that you can do supernatural things, even if you have evidence to the contrary or no evidence at all that you can do supernatural things. It's kind of like prayer that way. For me, it helped me feel less powerless. And it took me a long time to come to grips with the fact that the only thing I can control is what comes out of my mouth, and I'm not always great at controlling that, and what I do, and that is all on me. So how I act in this world, what I say in this world, that's, and this being the only one as far as I'm concerned, that's what it took me a long time to come to terms with that. I wanted to be able to affect reality more, but here's the funny thing. Once you stop waving incense sticks around and buying books for your really bizarre book collection, which every former neo-pagan has a really weird book collection, as do I. And once you stop worrying about all of that, it's like, oh, what can I actually do? How can I actually act in the world that will actually do some good, as opposed to all of this chanting that is doing nothing for anyone except making me feel calmer. And that's one of the big things that atheism did for me, is that once I stopped believing in all of that, I became more generous. I became more proactive. I started talking to all of you guys. I marched in a protest, which I'd never done before. Not that I didn't believe in protesting. I just, crowds scare I don't like crowds. And so that was hard for me, but I did it because I really believed in what we were marching for. And I think, we don't always know what we're capable of until we try. And so I'm trying, and we'll see. All right. Citation. Nerdy needs a citation for something. Earl Grey. Yeah. Tea, Earl Grey, hot. Oh, yes. Thank you for the Picard reference, Edward. Most trans women prefer coffee over capital T, I'm assuming. Yes, testosterone. I believe they do. I think you are correct. Microraptor, that's a good one. Yeah, so. Oh, right. Oh, I tried for years to do the Jedi mind trick. I would sit at my desk in school with trying to move a pencil without touching it. That's Lord. Anyway, yeah, I gotta pull this up just because it's so clever. I don't. I don't know that I did. There we go. Yeah. That's great. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on between Dave and Nerdy, but I assume it's hilarious and you probably worked it out. Okay. Oh, that's a nice. I think that's we know what happened in the first second of the universe. We can read stories written by long dead people. We can communicate with people all over the world. We live longer and healthier lives. That is magic. That is, yes, Microraptor, it is. Thank you. And I absolutely agree. And that is the perfect note to end on, except that now I've got to thank Mark. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So Thursday, live stream, 2 p.m. my time, like same time as this one. And we'll all talk together in the stream, in StreamYard. Okay. All right. That was really beautiful, Microraptor. You actually, I am moved. I am emotionally moved. Okay, guys. You guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are. Look out for each other. Look out for yourselves. Be safe. Wash your hands. And you can't find truth in wine, but you may find it in reason. And thanks again to all of my patrons. Thank you so much. All right. Love from Memphis, y'all.